at a desk at work or at home, maybe watching television, there's a good chance that we are not doing either one sitting straight up. So we could actually get better posture habits through exercise. And to tell us how, please welcome personal trainer PJ Glassy. Hi, I'm so glad to see you again. How are you doing?
Thank you, Beege.
So let's talk about how tech has changed. I find myself hunching over like a little gnome all the time, but it's because I'm used to being on the computer or the phone. Is that part of what's happening to us?
Oh my gosh, it's a huge problem, especially just in the last 10 years when we've gotten smartphones. Because remember the old flip phone? We didn't spend much time on that.
Right.
So we didn't need to stay over, but now we're searching the internet and we're doing all this. Yes, it's a computer. And so we're hunched over like this all the time. And look what happens to the neck. Now it's down like this.
Yep.
Bones are constantly being broken down and reforming. It's a natural process in the body. So when we have stress like this, those bones are reforming this way.
Into a curvature, which is the last thing we want.
Yes. And so because of that reformation and being in the habit of doing this, when we want to look up, we do this instead of this.
Instead of opening up our chests and whatnot. Yeah, I think I noticed that about myself. And sometimes I'll be sitting, on television and I'm hunched over.
Right.
Because we all have that habit.
Yeah.
So exercise can help us to get out of that habit, correct?
It can, yes.
And what's the problem if we stay that way and we kind of build that curvature into the top of our spine? What are the difficulties with that?
Oh, there's so many. It's a domino effect, first of all. So it starts up here, and then it goes down to the upper back. So then the upper back does this, and then it goes down to the mid back. The mid back does this. How many old people do you see walking around like this?
Already.
Yes.
They didn't grow up with tech, but we're making it worse, right?
Exactly, yes.
So
and so it's happening faster for our generation.
Ah, I get what you're saying. What happens to the muscles and the nerves and all of that when you don't have proper posture?
Well, they're pinched off. So the muscles are not designed to support the neck like this. The neck is designed to support the neck like this. So when we go forward, it takes it off the vertebrae and onto the muscles. And when we're doing this to the vertebrae, we're pinching things. So the vertebrae, the bones are not only reforming, but we have these cool little shock absorbers between the bones that are getting pinched in the front and traction in the back. Not natural. That's a problem.
And that's part of all that tension that builds up in your neck and back at the end of the day, right? And you just feel like you can't even get your head pulled back up anymore.
Right, and that's one of the reasons that people feel so exhausted at the end of the day. Because they come home, they've been doing this all the time, which isn't just a stress on these muscles, but like I said, it's the domino effect, stress on lots of muscles that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Trying to correct it or account for it.
Yes.
Okay, so Beverly, come on in. We have a model here, who's, or not a model, a volunteer who's going to exercise for us. You look like you could be a model, though. To demonstrate some of the exercises that you say can help us counteract this. So what would you suggest?
Well, first of all, just to reverse the effects of sitting down at a desk all day, it's a stretch. So she's just lying back over the ball.
Ooh, that feels good just looking at it, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Get your lower back all stretched out.
And you can roll forward just a couple inches so your head is supported on the ball, too. This is a pretty big ball, but it's a good size. It's 65 centimeters. And so her head's supported, her back is supported, and she's reversing the effect. So this is opposite of a desk job, which most of us have. Or phones, which we're doing this kind of thing.
Exactly.
So now she's doing this. She's opening up in front because when we do this, we're getting too tight here, and we're reforming our vertebrae. She's reversing all this. She's relaxing. It's a stress release for another thing.
Absolutely. It feels good just looking at it. How long should you do this for?
5 minutes or more.
And just let everything just kind of fall back into place.
Yeah, just fall back into place.
Do you recommend sitting on a ball like that at work so that you have to use your core a little bit? Or is that not one of the things that you like?
I do like that, but the jury's still out on whether that's good or not, because you can still have really bad posture on the ball if you're not mindful, which is the first step in correcting this problem, is to be mindful and to catch yourself doing this, bad posture, and to catch yourself with forward head posture, and to correct it. Like a drawer.
Just push your chin back.
Yep, straight back.
You guys see that? That's a good thing to think about. Chin forward, chin back. Okay, what else can we do?
So she's going to do some crunches. So lying down, same position. She's going to have her hands back here, elbows really wide like they were, so she's still stretching. And then the hands are basically just a head hammock. So they're just holding the weight of the head. They're not doing anything. They're not pulling or anything.
Right.
She's keeping everything nice and straight. And then she's going to crunch up slowly. There's the top, so about 45 degrees.
Got it.
And then slowly back down beyond parallel with the floor, but not into a relaxed state because she wants to have tension on the muscles the whole time.
Right.
Just slow motion crunches.
Now,
That's all
is that
there's to
really
it.
hard for a beginner?
No, it's not.
We can do that even if we're not in good shape.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
The range might be smaller, but as you get stronger, the range gets bigger.
Okay, got it. What's
So
next?
just do that until you get a nice muscle burn.
Yeah.
And then,
I think she's got
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You can sit up. Thanks.
right. And then
You
another
just keep
great
talking while you
exercise.
exercise.
Yeah. Another great exercise is back flies. So we're going to strengthen up some of the muscles because when we're like this, these muscles get too flexible and they get too weak. These muscles get too tight.
In the tight in the front and loose in the back.
So we
okay.
just corrected for that. Now we're going to strengthen up some of the muscles in the back to try to pull some of these muscles and bones and ligaments and tendons back to how they should be. If you look at any hunter-gatherer society on the planet, like the Amazon natives, they have amazing posture. They all look like this. They don't have cell phones. They're not surfing like this all the time. We look like this, and we have forward head posture.
And we're getting
walking around.
shorter, probably, as a result.
We are.
She grabbed some cans, so some very light weights can help with that.
Totally, yeah. It doesn't. It could be books. It can be cans. It doesn't have to be big, heavy dumbbells.
Right.
She's doing it real slow motion, and then at the top of the range, she's a little bit forward with her hands,
Okay.
so they're straight up from her ears, and that's going to emphasize the upper back muscles, trapezius, and the neck muscles, which are going to be strengthened with this kind of exercise to reverse some of the effects of this kind of stuff.
And that's good for everybody, right?
Yeah. And she's just going until, she feels a burn back there and she's getting fatigued and nice and slow, very controlled repetitions. There's no yanking or ballistic motions.
Do you have any tips for, thank you so much. We're sitting at our desk, we're reading on our phone, and it's going to occur to us occasionally once we're, a little more aware of this. What should we do? How do you check your posture?
Well, the important thing is you get in the habit. So initially,
So I'm like this. What should I be thinking now?
you should be thinking, sit up,
Sit up,
chin back,
my chin back,
right, bingo,
and shoulders back.
shoulders back, yeah. Mom
Now,
was right.
Mom was right.
Yeah.
She'll be very glad that we said
Right,
that.
right.
So any kind of stretches you can do to kind of at
Sure.
your desk?
Anything that's going to put you in this kind of posture, because our muscles are only as loose as the active range of motion throughout the day. So if we're like this all day, these get really tight. So anything we can do to increase our normal active range of motion is going to loosen things up.
I think that's also kind of good for you emotionally. Somehow stretching open just makes me feel like I'm taking in the sunshine.
Oh my gosh.
Things are just better.
Yes.
Like that.
And they've done studies on that. Posture studies. Power posture like this
Yeah.
and like this.
I'm going to go around the office like that all day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's huge because when we make ourselves bigger and we
Yeah.
have a powerful posture, it actually changes chemicals and hormones in our body.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, to make us feel that way. But when we're like this, we're making ourselves smaller. And same thing, chemicals and hormones to make us feel
Wow.
worse.
So we're happier this way.
Absolutely.
Maybe my Wonder Woman pose. That's great. Thank you so much. That's really interesting information. Next up on New Day, it is a golf lover's delight. It's the annual Boeing